Okay, so if you're a gamer, you've probably heard the whispers lately. Maybe seen the forum posts. Steam is getting rid of horror games. I mean, cases like Vile, Exhumed just vanishing from the store. That definitely sent a real jolt of anxiety through the community. But let's unpack this a bit. What if those removals aren't the real story? What if they're just a symptom and the real ghost in the machine, so to speak, is something way bigger, something that's actually reshaping everything you buy online?
That's a fantastic way to put it. Because what's really fascinating here isn't, Steam suddenly disliking horror. It's about this thing called financial deplatforming. Basically, global financial gatekeepers think Visa, MasterCard are stepping in and acting like content police. So our deep dive today is really going to explore this hidden power shift and what it actually means for, well, pretty much the entire digital marketplace.
Right. And we've dug into a whole stack of sources you sent over, articles, some industry reports, lots of community discussion trying to get to the bottom of this whole thing. So let's start with maybe the trigger point on Steam itself. This Rule 15, it popped up mid-July 2025, right?
Yeah.
And the wording is just super vague. Something about content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment processors. That seems like a huge shift from Steam's old hands-off approach, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A radical departure. And Valve's official line, purely pragmatic. They basically said, look, we were notified some games violated processor rules. The threat was existential for them, losing Visa, MasterCard, PayPal. That means customers can't buy anything on Steam, period. So this was really a defensive move to protect their whole business, not them deciding they don't like certain games.
Wow. Okay, so it's the money people calling the shots on game content. That seems wild. I mean, why would Visa or MasterCard suddenly care about what's in a video game? What's driving them here?
Yeah, it's not about artistic taste for them, like you said. It boils down to one word: risk. A few kinds, really. First, legal liability. Remember that big Pornhub scandal back in 2020? That made payment processors incredibly nervous about hosting anything that could be illegal. So they got really broad with their policies, very preventative.
Okay, makes sense. Legal heat.
Then there's straight up financial risk. Content deemed adult or highly controversial is often flagged as high risk for fraud, for chargebacks, buyer's remorse chargebacks. Those things cost the processors real money.
Right, the bottom line.
And finally, reputation. Big global brands like Visa, MasterCard, they want that squeaky clean, family-friendly image. They really don't want headlines linking them to controversial stuff. And look, this isn't just Steam. We've seen the same playbook used against Patreon, OnlyFans, even some Japanese manga and game sites. It's this financial deplatforming pressure. And with Visa and MasterCard basically being a duopoly, getting blacklisted by them, put on their MTCH list, that's pretty much a game over for any online business.
Okay, so this pressure cooker environment was building. What was the specific spark then, the thing that really set this whole Steam situation off?
Right, the catalyst. That seems to be a game called No Mercy, which came out back in April 2025. It got described, pretty controversially, as a rape and incest simulator. Unsurprisingly, it caused massive outrage. Got banned fast in several countries.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that would cause outrage.
Yeah.
But how did that specific game translate into pressure on, like, Visa and MasterCard against Steam?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. An Australian activist group, Collective Shout, they'd been trying to get Valve's attention directly with no luck. So they shifted tactics. They launched this open letter campaign, but they didn't aim it at Valve. They aimed it squarely at Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal. It was smart, really, kind of like policy laundering. Forget arguing content with Valve. Hit them where it hurts the financial risk. They basically weaponized that risk aversion we talked about, going straight for the payment processor's weak spot. And well, it worked. Forced Valve's hand.
So that forced Rule 15, and then Vile, Exhumed, gets pulled.
Yeah.
What exactly happened there? Why that specific horror game?
Right, so Vile, Exhumed got the axe in late July 2025. The stated reason was sexual content with depictions of real people. But the developer, Kara Cadaver, she pushed back hard. Insisted it was all implied, no explicit depictions, and refused to censor it. And that's the scary part for creators and horror fans. It shows these new rules aren't just about explicit stuff anymore. Now it extends to implication, theme, and artistic representation.
Oof. Yeah, you can immediately see the slippery slope argument taking hold then, if implication is enough. The community's fear is, okay, what's next? Excessive gore, certain kinds of violence, LGBTQ plus themes, controversial politics, religion. I mean, that mouthwashing incident, even though it turned out to be a false alarm, it really showed how deep that anxiety runs now.
Exactly. And it's such a stark contrast to where Valve was just a few years ago. Remember 2018? Their policy was basically allow everything, unless it was illegal or clearly just trolling.
Yeah, I remember that. Very hands-off.
Think about the Devotion case in 2019. Huge political controversy, pressure from China. But Valve didn't ban it. The developer pulled it themselves under that political pressure, which raises a really key question. Why could Valve weather political storms but buckle under financial pressure? Simple. The financial pressure threatened their entire business. Losing Visa and MasterCard, that means they can't sell anything. It's an existential threat. Politics wasn't.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here for you listening, whether you're a gamer, a creator, just someone who buys stuff online? It feels like this could be the beginning of the end for platform neutrality, at least on major storefronts like Steam.
It really could be. We might see the market split, Big, clean, mainstream platforms playing it safe, and then maybe smaller fringe platforms popping up, maybe using crypto or other payment methods for the edgier stuff. Or maybe we even see government stepping in to regulate the payment processors themselves. That's a whole other can of worms, though.
Yeah. It's pretty clear from this deep dive, though. Whoever controls the money flow online now has this incredible power to decide what art gets made, what gets sold, what you can buy. It really feels like a fundamental battle over expression online, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And it leaves us with a really important question to chew on. In a digital world where financial giants hold this kind of sway, how do we actually protect artistic freedom? How do we ensure open access to content, especially the stuff that pushes boundaries or tackles difficult themes? Definitely something worth thinking about.